Hello from Mindset Daily, wishing you a day full of health, peace, and happiness. Thank you for watching the Mindset Daily channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe to support us. Thank you so much.
What if the real secret to success isn't a grand breakthrough, but something far simpler, done daily? Have you ever set a goal, felt inspired, and then watched your motivation fade in just weeks? Today, we're breaking down the truth about lasting self-improvement and why most people never make it past January. I want to talk to you today about how to force yourself to grow, not just for a week, not just for a month, but every single day for the rest of your life. Because that's what real success demands. It isn't a one-time event. It's a process, a relentless, consistent journey. And that journey begins with a single, powerful decision. A decision to be better tomorrow than you are today. A choice to learn more, to work harder, to stretch yourself beyond what feels comfortable or easy. Now, I already know what some of you might be thinking. Jim, I've made decisions like that before. I've set New Year's resolutions. I've made promises to myself, and they never stick. And you're right. Most people do make decisions, but most of those decisions don't last. Why is that? It's because they don't turn those decisions into discipline. And discipline, real, daily, consistent discipline, is the bridge between making a choice and actually achieving something. Let's be honest, deciding is easy. Anyone can say, I'm going to lose weight, or I'm going to start a business, or I'm going to learn a new language. Those declarations are easy to make. But what's hard? Forcing yourself to show up day after day to do the work. That's where people fall short. But here's what I need you to understand. Just because it's hard doesn't mean it's impossible. It's just hard, and you were built to handle hard things. You are capable of doing what's uncomfortable. You're wired for resilience. So, how do you develop that kind of discipline? How do you force yourself to improve? Not once, not occasionally, but every single day. Let me share with you a strategy that has transformed the lives of thousands of people I've worked with over the years. It starts with understanding the power of small, consistent improvements. Most people overestimate what they can do in a single year and massively underestimate what they can do in 10. Why? Because they don't truly grasp the power of compound interest, not just in money, but in personal growth. If you improve by just 1% a day, by the end of a year, you're not 365% better. You're nearly 3,700% better. That's not hype. That's math. That's the magic of compounding applied to your character, your habits, your discipline, and your mindset. So never look down on small beginnings. Don't get discouraged by days when you only move forward an inch. Because those inches, they build, they stack, and before you know it, you've traveled miles from where you began. Let's keep building on what we've discussed. The second key to lasting improvement is developing what I call a growth philosophy. This mindset says, I am responsible for my own development. Not my manager, not my partner, not my parents, not the government. Me, I'm the one responsible. Sadly, most people live with what I describe as a survival philosophy. They're just trying to make it through the day. They're focused on getting through the week, the month, maybe the year. They're not thinking about how to grow, only how to get by. And let me tell you, there's a massive difference between surviving and growing. When you operate from a survival philosophy, you're constantly reacting to life. It's like playing defense all the time, just managing the chaos. But when you choose a growth philosophy, you start to shape your life instead of being shaped by it. You're not just putting out fires. You're building something strong enough to withstand the fires when they come. So here's a question worth pausing for. Are you just trying to get through? Or are you actively trying to get better? Do you spend your days reacting? Or are you creating, building, and leading yourself forward? Because if you want to improve day after day, you must adopt a growth mindset. It's non-negotiable. Now let's move to the third key, deliberate practice. Not just any practice, deliberate. There's a big difference. Most people think they're improving simply because they repeat something again and again. But repetition alone doesn't guarantee progress. Deliberate practice is targeted. It's intentional. It's structured to make you better. It means you don't just do what you're already good at. You push into what's uncomfortable. You focus on the areas you're weakest in. You seek feedback. And more importantly, you use that feedback to get better. So ask yourself, in your work, in your relationships, in your health, are you truly practicing deliberately, or are you just going through the motions? If your goal is to improve every single day, then repetition without reflection won't get you there. You need challenge, feedback, and conscious effort. The fourth key, surround yourself with growth-oriented people. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And that's not just a nice quote. It's a life principle. If you're serious about forcing yourself to improve day after day, take a moment to reflect on who's in your circle. Are they encouraging you to rise higher? Do they challenge your thinking and elevate your standards? Or are they holding you back, keeping you in your comfort zone, reinforcing mediocrity, or even feeding your doubts? I'm not saying to walk away from your loved ones, but I am saying this. Be intentional about who has the most influence on your mindset, because your environment either helps you grow or makes it easier to settle. Finally, the fifth key, become a lifelong learner. The day you stop learning is the day you stop truly living. That's not just poetic, it's biological. Your brain is like a muscle. It needs constant engagement or it begins to atrophy. And learning is one of the most powerful forms of mental training. Now, I'm not talking only about formal education. That can be helpful, but it's not the whole picture. That kind of structured learning has its value, no doubt. But what I'm really talking about here is developing a genuine hunger for knowledge and personal wisdom. I'm talking about cultivating a mindset where you're always reaching for more insight, more perspective, more understanding. That means reading books that challenge your thinking, listening to podcasts that spark new ideas, taking courses that stretch your skills, and seeking out mentors who can accelerate your growth. Here's a staggering fact. The average CEO reads around 60 books per year. That's more than one book every single week. Now compare that to the average American, who reads less than one book a year. Is it really surprising, then, that CEOs often find themselves leading, while most people struggle to get ahead? Successful people are readers. They know that some of the world's best thinking, the most powerful lessons, have already been written down. All they have to do is access it. So, if you want to consistently improve day after day, become a lifelong learner. Fill your mind with new ideas. Let books, mentors, courses, and conversations sharpen your thinking and challenge your assumptions. Now, let's talk about the sixth key, embracing the power of habits. Habits are the compound interest of personal growth. The small disciplines you repeat each day, those seemingly insignificant choices, add up over time. Most people don't realize how deeply their daily routines are shaping their future. They wake up, check their phones, rush out the door, come home drained, watch TV, go to bed, and repeat that same pattern for years. Then they wonder why nothing changes. But here's the truth. Your life, right now, is largely the result of your habits. Whether you're in shape or not, fulfilled or not, successful or not, it all traces back to your habits. The way you think, the way you speak, the way you react to challenges, these become patterns. And those patterns eventually become your identity. So if you're serious about improving, take a hard look at your habits. Identify the ones holding you back and begin replacing them with habits that move you forward. It's not going to be easy. Habit change never is, but the reward is massive. Seventh, you need to set meaningful goals. Goals give your life a sense of direction. They help focus your energy and attention. Without them, you're like a ship with no compass, just drifting wherever the current takes you. But not all goals are created equal. The most powerful goals are the ones deeply rooted in your values, your sense of purpose, and your vision for the life you truly want to live. Ask yourself, what do I want my life to look like in 5 years? In 10 years? In 20 years? Who do I want to become? What kind of impact do I want to make? What legacy do I hope to leave behind? Then, once you've identified those big picture goals, break them down into actionable steps. Yearly goals, monthly milestones, weekly targets, and daily habits. Because real improvement doesn't happen overnight. It happens one day at a time, through small, consistent actions that accumulate into extraordinary results. And finally, the eighth key, embrace discomfort. True growth never happens inside your comfort zone. It happens at the edge of it. If you're always comfortable, you're not stretching, not evolving, not discovering your true capacity. But let's be honest, most people avoid discomfort at all costs. They stay in jobs they dislike, relationships that feel empty, and routines that drain their energy. all because it feels safe. They avoid risk, new experiences, and uncertainty. But ask yourself this: is comfort worth the cost of your potential? But here's the truth. Comfort is the silent enemy of progress. It lulls you into routines that feel safe, but ultimately keep you stuck. If you truly want to improve day after day, you must be willing to embrace discomfort just as regularly. Now, that doesn't mean you need to be miserable. It means you must get used to pushing yourself beyond what feels easy, beyond what's familiar, and especially beyond the habits you've always clung to. So take a moment and ask yourself honestly, where in my life am I too comfortable right now? Where am I holding back? Where am I choosing safety over growth? Avoiding challenges just because they might stretch me or expose me to failure. That's the very space where growth lives. Step into it. Don't wait for courage. Step forward with intention, knowing that discomfort is not a signal to retreat, but a signpost for transformation. Now let's move on to the 9th principle: practicing self-discipline. This might just be the most underappreciated but powerful skill in the personal growth toolbox. Self-discipline is the ability to make yourself do what you know you need to do exactly when you need to do it, even when you don't feel like it. The truth is, most people wait for the right mood to strike. They wait until they feel like going to the gym, or working hard, or saving money. But here's the thing, that feeling rarely comes. Successful people, the ones who truly improve every single day, don't wait for motivation. They take action based on commitment, not emotion. They understand that feelings are fleeting, but their goals and values are constant. And no, self-discipline is not some rare talent you're either born with or not. It's a skill. And like any skill, it can be developed. It starts with small decisions. Start with one simple area of your life that you want to improve. Focus on that. Build consistency. Once that becomes a habit, move on to another area. And remember, self-discipline isn't about being perfect. It's about being consistent. It's not about never falling. It's about having the resilience to rise after you stumble and keep moving forward with determination. 10th, you must take care of yourself physically. This might seem like a side note when we're talking about personal development, but it's not. It's central. Your physical well-being is the foundation of everything else: your energy, your focus, your emotional balance, your productivity. If your body is running on empty, your mind and spirit won't be far behind. How can you expect to improve day after day if you're constantly tired, your mind is foggy, and your emotions are up and down? Take care of your body. Eat nourishing foods. Move daily, even if it's just a walk. Get quality sleep. And give yourself permission to rest and recharge when needed. This isn't a luxury. It's maintenance for the most important tool you own. You. 11th, and just as vital, learn from failure. Because failure isn't the opposite of success. It's part of the journey toward it. Every high achiever you admire has failed far more times than the average person has even attempted. The difference lies in how they respond. Most people hit failure once and fold. They tell themselves, "I knew this wouldn't work," or "I guess I'm just not good at this." And they retreat to their comfort zone, never to try again. But if you truly want to improve consistently, you need to adopt a new lens. Failure is not final. It's feedback. It's not the end of the road. It's information. Each mistake is a lesson in disguise. And those who dare to learn from it grow stronger and move further than they ever imagined. You need to begin viewing failure through a different lens, not as a loss, but as a lesson. It's not something that knocks you down and leaves you broken. It's something that teaches you, molds you, and pushes you forward if you're willing to learn. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" ask yourself, "What can I take from this? How can I grow from it?" When you treat failure as a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block, it becomes a powerful part of your growth story. And believe me, if you're really pushing yourself, you will fail sometimes. But that's the cost of stretching beyond your limits. The question isn't whether you'll fall, but whether you'll learn from the fall and get back up stronger than before. 12th, let's talk about something that may seem surprising in the context of improvement: gratitude. You might be thinking, if I'm focused on becoming better, doesn't that mean I'm not content with where I am now? But that's a misunderstanding. Gratitude isn't the enemy of ambition. It's the fuel for it. Gratitude is about perspective. It's about appreciating where you are, even as you work toward where you want to be. It's about finding joy in the progress you've already made, and in the people and opportunities that support your journey. When times get tough, and they will, gratitude grounds you. It gives you strength, clarity, and resilience. So make it a habit. Each day, take just a moment to reflect. What am I grateful for today? It could be the small progress you made, the courage you showed, or the lessons you learned. Maybe it's the mentor who believes in you, or the freedom to chase your dreams. Whatever it is, acknowledge it and be thankful. Gratitude transforms the mindset. It shifts your focus from lack to possibility. Now, here's the 13th principle. Keep perspective. This journey of personal growth, it's lifelong. There's no final finish line where you can say, I've arrived, I'm done. And honestly, that's the beauty of it. Because if growth had an endpoint, life would eventually lose its spark. Instead, you can always discover more, do more, become more. But remember, with that limitless possibility comes a need for pacing. If you're always pushing, always striving, you may forget to stop and appreciate how far you've come. Celebrate the small wins. Rest when your body or spirit needs to recharge. Be patient with yourself when progress feels slow. It's okay to move steadily as long as you're still moving forward. Improvement isn't about perfection. It's about progression. It's not about never falling. It's about rising every time you do. And it's certainly not about arriving. It's about fully engaging in the journey of becoming a little better each day. Now, let me introduce a framework I've developed to help people stay consistent in their growth. I call it the 5 for Daily Drive. It's a simple but powerful system to help you stay intentional, focused, and energized every single day. The first part of this framework is to start your day with purpose. Don't just wake up and drift through your morning, reacting to whatever comes. Instead, rise with intention. Rise with a plan. Begin your day already knowing the small steps you'll take to move closer to your goals. A focused morning sets the tone for a productive, meaningful day. I recommend starting each morning with just a few minutes of intentional focus. Take that quiet moment to review your goals, identify your top priorities, and visualize yourself succeeding throughout the day. This simple practice sets a powerful tone. It centers your energy and primes your mind to focus on what truly matters instead of getting lost in distractions. The second element of the 5 for Daily Drive is to feed your mind. Just like your body needs nutritious food, your mind needs high-quality input. If you fill your thoughts with negativity or noise, your thinking becomes cloudy. But when you fill your mind with inspiration, education, and meaningful content, your perspective sharpens. Read something uplifting. Listen to a podcast that challenges you or teaches you something new. Watch a short video that expands your thinking. You could even use your commute or lunch break to squeeze in a few pages of a great book or an online course. Remember, the quality of your thinking shapes the quality of your life, and what you feed your mind shapes your thinking. Third, make it a habit to stretch your capabilities. Growth doesn't happen in comfort. It happens just beyond it. So, every day, do something that stretches you, even a little. Maybe it's initiating a tough conversation you've been putting off. Maybe it's trying a new strategy or stepping into a role that makes you nervous. Maybe it's simply taking that small risk you've been avoiding. Whatever it is, choose something that helps you grow. Progress often hides behind discomfort. The fourth part is to reflect on your day. This is one of the most overlooked but powerful tools for growth. Before you wind down for the evening, pause and look back. What did you do well today? What didn't go as planned? What did you learn? And more importantly, how can you use that insight to make tomorrow better? This simple daily habit helps transform experience into wisdom. It ensures that you're not just going through the motions, but growing through every moment. And finally, the fifth practice is to prepare for tomorrow. Before you go to bed, take just a few minutes to plan. Set clear intentions. Organize your environment. Eliminate anything that might slow you down in the morning. This one step boosts your productivity the next day. And something even more interesting happens. While you sleep, your subconscious continues to process your goals. That's why you sometimes wake up with a fresh idea, a solution to a problem, or renewed clarity you didn't have the night before. So, there you have it, your 5 for Daily Drive. Start your day with purpose, feed your mind, stretch your capabilities, reflect on your day, and prepare for tomorrow. Do these 5 things consistently, and you'll build unstoppable momentum toward continuous growth. But of course, no path to growth is without challenges. And now, let's talk about one of the biggest ones, procrastination. We've all felt it. That inner voice that whispers, "You can do it tomorrow," and then says the same thing the next day and the next. The key to beating procrastination is understanding a simple truth. Motivation doesn't always come first. In fact, it often follows action. You don't need to feel motivated to begin. You just need to begin. And once you take that first step, momentum starts to build. That's where the 5-minute rule comes in. When you're stuck in procrastination, tell yourself you only have to do the task for 5 minutes. Just 5. It's manageable. It's non-threatening. Anyone can do something for 5 minutes, right? And most of the time, once you start, you want to keep going. The hardest part is beginning. It's often much easier to keep going than it is to stop and start again. That's why momentum matters. But another major obstacle to consistent improvement is fear. Fear shows up in many forms. Fear of failure, fear of success, fear of the unknown, or even fear of what others might say or think. Fear can be incredibly paralyzing, keeping you stuck in place, holding you back from reaching for the next level. So how do you overcome it? Start by recognizing fear for what it really is, a feeling, not a fact. It might feel overwhelming and real, but in many cases, fear is built on assumptions, on imagined worst-case scenarios that rarely come true, or on limits that exist only in your mind. That's why, when fear shows up, and it will, especially when you're stretching beyond your comfort zone, you need to acknowledge it, then move forward anyway. Feel the fear, but act in spite of it. Because just beyond that fear, that's where your real growth lives. Next comes perfectionism. This one is tricky because it wears a clever disguise. It poses as high standards or quality control, but underneath it's really about fear. Fear of not being good enough, fear of judgment, fear of loss of control. Perfectionism tells you that if you can't do something perfectly, you shouldn't do it at all. But that mindset kills progress. To overcome it, embrace the mindset of good enough for now. Not good enough forever. Just good enough to take the next step. Good enough to get started. Good enough to test, learn, adjust, and improve. Remember, success is an iterative process. You get better by doing, by gathering feedback, and by refining. The goal is not perfection, it's progress. Another big obstacle? Lack of support. It's hard to grow in isolation. We all need people around us who believe in us, who push us, who hold us accountable and tell us the truth, even when it's uncomfortable. If you don't have that in your current circle, you have to go out and build it. Join a mastermind group. Find a mentor. Hire a coach. Connect with people who are on the same growth path. And if those closest to you aren't supportive right now, don't let that discourage you. Sometimes, the people who love you most are simply afraid of change. They're used to the version of you that you're trying to grow beyond. But once they see the positive changes unfolding in your life, they often begin to come around. Then there's burnout, the silent killer of consistency. When you're constantly pushing yourself to grow, it's easy to go too far. You skip breaks. You sacrifice sleep. You neglect rest and reflection. Eventually, the drive that once energized you begins to drain you. That's why you must build sustainability into your journey. Take intentional breaks. Protect your sleep. Schedule rest like it matters, because it does. Self-care isn't indulgent. It's the fuel that keeps the engine running. Improvement isn't a sprint. It's a lifelong marathon. And to win the long game, you have to pace yourself. Now, let's shift gears and look at how to accelerate your growth without burning out. One of the most powerful strategies? Leverage feedback. Think of feedback like a mirror. It shows you what you can't see on your own. It exposes blind spots, highlights weaknesses, and reveals how your actions affect others. But not all feedback is equal. The best kind is specific, timely, and actionable. It clearly points out what you did well, what could be improved, and what steps you can take next. So, don't wait for feedback. Ask for it. Seek it out intentionally. Be open to it, even if it's uncomfortable at first. Use it as fuel, as data for your development. And remember, feedback is a gift. Sometimes wrapped in a package you may not like, but a gift all the same. Next up, we'll explore even more strategies that will help you keep growing stronger, faster, and with clarity. Another powerful tool to accelerate your growth is the use of visualization. Your brain doesn't always differentiate between what's vividly imagined and what's actually real. So when you mentally rehearse your success, seeing yourself overcoming challenges, achieving your goals, and stepping into the person you're striving to become, your brain builds new neural pathways as if you had already lived it. This makes it far easier to act with confidence in the real world. Set aside a few minutes each day to truly immerse yourself in these visualizations. Make them as rich and detailed as possible. Engage all your senses. Picture the sights, hear the sounds, and most importantly, feel the emotions you would feel if it were happening right now. That emotional charge is what anchors the image in your mind and helps turn it into reality. The third strategy to supercharge your improvement is accountability. When you're only accountable to yourself, it's easier to rationalize slacking off. But when someone else is counting on you, checking in on your progress, reminding you of your goals, and challenging you to be your best, you're far more likely to follow through. Find an accountability partner, someone who's also serious about growth. Someone who won't just cheer you on, but will call you out when you're playing small or avoiding the work. Accountability adds weight to your commitments and helps keep your actions aligned with your intentions. Next, let's talk about systems. While goals help you set your direction, it's your systems, the routines, habits, and daily practices that drive actual progress. Without a system, a goal is just a wish. But with a strong system in place, success becomes almost inevitable over time. Think about it like this. If your goal is to run a marathon, your system is your training schedule. If your goal is to build a business, your system includes your marketing plan, your daily outreach, your workflow. Systems give structure to your effort. They take willpower out of the equation and replace it with consistent action. Fifth, don't underestimate the power of rest. It may sound counterproductive. If you want to improve faster, shouldn't you push harder? Actually, no. True growth requires recovery. Rest isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. It's when you rest that your body repairs, your mind consolidates new information, and your creativity flourishes. Without rest, you risk burnout and stagnation. So, make rest part of your system. Take short breaks throughout the day. Get quality sleep each night. Block off time for relaxation, reflection, and even vacations. You'll come back sharper, more energized, and more capable of sustained improvement. And now, perhaps the most powerful fuel for long-term growth, your why. Your why is your inner compass. It's your deepest reason for wanting to improve. It's what gives meaning to your effort, what pulls you through challenges, and what inspires resilience when quitting seems easier. Too many people get fixated on what they want or how they'll get there, but overlook why it matters in the first place. And yet, it's the why that sustains you when the how gets hard. So take time to reconnect with your why. Ask yourself, why do I really want to grow? What's at stake if I don't? What kind of life am I building? And who am I becoming in the process? When your why is strong, no obstacle is too great. And every step, no matter how small, feels meaningful. When your why is powerful enough, it will guide everything else. You'll figure out the what and the how, because your purpose will be driving you. A strong why doesn't just give you motivation. It gives you direction and resilience. It helps you push through the obstacles, the fatigue, the doubt. Even when it's hard, even when every part of you wants to quit, a clear and meaningful why will push you to show up again, to keep growing, and to do what needs to be done. So ask yourself, what's your why? Why do you want to improve? Is it for your family, to give them a better life, or to become the role model they deserve? Is it for your community, to serve and uplift others? Is it for a cause, a vision, a dream that lights a fire inside you? Or is it simply to live up to the incredible potential you know is within you? Whatever your reason, make it vivid. Make it personal. Write it down and revisit it every day. Let it fuel your drive. And don't worry if your why evolves over time. What moves you in your 20s may not be the same in your 40s or 60s. What matters is that you stay connected to the purpose that energizes you today. Now, as we begin to close this chapter, let's clarify something that matters deeply. Forcing yourself to improve day after day isn't about becoming someone you're not. It's about becoming more fully who you are. It's about unlocking the potential that's already inside you. Picture a seed. It holds everything it needs to become a towering tree, but only if it's nurtured. Just like that seed, you carry the beginnings of greatness. But potential doesn't fulfill itself. It doesn't blossom on its own. It needs your consistent, intentional effort. It needs you to show up, to take action, and yes, sometimes to push yourself even when you don't feel like it. And I use the word force deliberately, because there will be days when you just want to coast. Days when you feel tired, unmotivated, or tempted to settle for less than your best. That's when you need to lovingly but firmly step in, just like a good parent guiding a child. Not out of punishment, but out of care. Because you want the best for yourself, even when your current self resists it. You must be both roles in your life. The one who sets the standard and the one who meets it. The one who demands more and the one who delivers. And here's the beauty of this process. Over time, something begins to shift. The effort that once felt forced becomes more natural. The habits that once required discipline start running on autopilot. The daily struggle becomes a rhythm you actually enjoy. And one day, you'll notice the momentum carrying you forward. Eventually, you'll reach that tipping point. The place where consistent effort turns into consistent excellence. Where growth isn't just a decision, it's a way of being. But even after that, there will still be days when you need to nudge yourself to recommit to dig deep again. And that's okay, because that's part of the lifelong journey. You need to be intentional. You need to be disciplined. And yes, you need to force yourself. So here's my challenge for you. Starting today, make a firm decision to push yourself toward growth. Not just for a day, not just for a week or even a month, but every single day. Day after day, choose growth, choose effort, and choose improvement. Force yourself to read more books, even when you're tired. Push yourself to have deeper, more meaningful conversations, even when it feels easier to stay silent. Take on the projects that stretch you, that make your hands sweat and your heart race. Those are the ones that shape you. Face the fears you've been running from. Step out of the comfort zone you've built around yourself and into the space where real transformation happens. Challenge yourself to be just a little better today than you were yesterday. Reflect on your setbacks and learn from them, because within every failure lies the seed of future growth. Celebrate your small wins along the way. Let them remind you that progress is happening. Stay grateful, not just for how far you've come, but for the opportunity to go even farther. Push yourself to live up to your own potential. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for the perfect time. Step fully into the version of you that was meant to make an impact. Because that's what this journey is really about. It's not about being flawless. It's about being intentional. It's not about reaching a final destination. It's about making progress consistently, even when it's hard, even when it's slow. And as you do, as you force yourself to improve day after day, you won't just change your own life. You'll begin to inspire others to rise higher in theirs. You'll become a living example of what's possible. You'll unlock not only your own potential, but become the catalyst for others to do the same. That, my friends, is true success. Not just personal success, but meaningful success. The kind that leaves a legacy. The kind that endures. The kind that creates a ripple effect far beyond you. So go out there. Push yourself to grow. Push yourself to rise. Push yourself to become all that you are capable of becoming. Because the world is not just waiting for change, it's waiting for you. Don't keep it waiting. Wishing you strength, health, and happiness on this journey. And don't forget to subscribe to Mindset Daily for more inspiring messages just like this one.